I'm Courtney Boyce.
I'm Derek Olthius, and you're listening to the Drop Jaw Podcast.
Boom!
You may have to catch it for me. I grew up, Jason always like hogging all the fish, and then no one else gets to catch anything.
Nothing's changed.
I'm Simon Gorsworth, and you're listening to the Drop Jaw Flies podcast.
I wish I could sit down and have a conversation with the trout and go, "So, Mr. Trout, why do you like those worms so much?"
Stick 'em solid.
Welcome to the Drop Jaw Flies podcast, your source for fly fishing talk, tips, and stories. In this episode, we broadcast live just outside Yellowstone National Park in beautiful Island Park, Idaho. We sit down with Trevor Erickson, Jason's nephew and founder of the super cool outdoor community, MTNMOB. We talk fishing, hunting, snowmobiling, and everything outdoors with Trevor, which is exactly what MTNMOB is. We also talk spring fishing in Trout Mecca, Island Park, and Yellowstone National Park. If you enjoy our podcast, let us know. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and our YouTube channel. I'm Chad Nelson, along with my co-host, Jason Arvey. Here is today's podcast.
We're just starting our Masha post, will be our first blog post. She's the mountain climber chick who is doing trying to break the record for the, I don't know what they call it, the Grand Slam or something. Climb all the highest peaks in the world.
Wow.
So she's gonna do a guest post about, she just summited Everest. So she's gonna do a guest post about that.
I've seen something on her. What's her name?
Masha, her name's Masha Gordon.
Isn't there like
She
eight
has-
of them that are over 20,000 feet or something like that? Is that what it is?
There's something, I don't know exactly, I probably should have remembered the name of this thing, this like achievement. So now she's on her last one and she's doing Denali. Denali, yeah, it's in Alaska, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Did she contact you? Or
so
did
she just sent some photos. I mean, they must have a way of sending that stuff out on the mountain because she was sending them while she was on Everest.
Cool.
So she sent some photos, and then after I found out that she made it successfully back alive from Everest, I reached back out to see if she wanted to do a guest post. So eventually,
It's funny that you say that. She made it back.
well, yeah, I just watched
I know,
Everest like a month ago.
If you
I'm
make
like-
it, you can come out.
A third of them die, right?
I know, it's crazy. But it's so funny to say that because in fishing or hunting, you're just expected to live. But when you go to Everest, hey, if you live,
Yeah, it's like you go with a group and you're thinking, which one of us is gonna not come back?
Well, you spend your life savings to go to Everest, and if you live, you come back and you have no money left.
Yeah.
That's right. Isn't it 50 grand? Did she say? I mean, to go to Everest, to fly there, to get a guide, all your equipment. It's
Yes.
about 50.
Yeah, you can find it I was just talking to my neighbor about this the other day because he's a big mountain climber. You can find it for as cheap as $30,000, but the guys that charge $50,000 to $60,000, they keep more people alive.
Yeah.
So
It's probably worth it to.
Yeah, you can name their price.
I mean,
it's just funny when Trevor said that though. If she makes it,
none of
alive.
these guide services can really say we guarantee we'll get you to the top because there's no guarantee. But what they publish is statistics showing how many of their clients live or die. That's crazy.
You got a 50-50 chance with me. 50 grand. Well, that's awesome. So today
Okay, we're rolling. So why don't you introduce our guest?
we got a special guest today, and it's my nephew, Trevor Erickson, who is MTNMOB. And for you guys who don't know MTNMOB, it is a really cool community of people who play in the mountains and who have activities and do really cool things in the mountains. And if you look at his Instagram account, you can see probably what I think is the coolest snowmobile pictures out there. And Trevor is a super awesome snowmobiler. If I go with Trevor, and I haven't for a while because his skill is way above mine, but I have to dig myself out where he goes. So, yeah, awesome having Trevor with us today.
So Mountain Mob, your Instagram name, it's MTNMOB, is that correct?
MTNMOB.
Yeah.
Those of you watching the video version, you can check out Trevor's cool lid with his logo.
That is one
We've
of the
got
coolest
others.
logos around.
Yeah,
Who designed that for you?
So, with my line of work outside of Mountain Mob, it involves designing and building online content and websites. And so there's a company that I use every time, 99 Designs. I have no affiliation to them, so they're just getting a free plug here on the Drop Jaw Flies podcast. But it's pretty much you get hundreds of designers that go out and they start creating new logos, and then you critique and you pick which ones you like the most, and then you can critique them more, and until you come away with the one you want. So
Awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Love that one.
So we are here in the Island Park area, up at the family cabin. You guys, this is awesome setting to do a fishing podcast because there's so much great fishing. And Trevor, this is your backyard
yeah.
where you do all your snowmobiling. You enjoy hunting and fishing.
Yeah, it's one of my, I don't know why I have such a crazy passion to hunt and snowmobile like in the exact same spots, but it's just cool to see how the seasons change when you're up there hiking around. You get places a lot further or quicker on the sled, obviously, than hiking. That's a bonus about the winter, but it's just super neat to see the awesome terrain and country in different seasons of the year.
Yeah, so finished up winter, and that was the big snowmobile type thing, and you're going to be transitioning into hiking.
Yeah, hiking. Me personally, it's scouting. I'll be up here a lot. We have a spring bear hunt that goes on for the rest of this month. And so my road just opened up for the summer, so I'm probably going to go check that out tonight and see if we see any bears.
That was
Sweet.
so cool. Was it last year or the year before? I get up really early on the opener to go fishing. And I'm fishing, everything's totally peaceful, and I hear this boom. Well, what the heck is that? Because I normally don't hear anything. You know, I'm just out at the lake, and come to find out, Trevor had taken a bear just about, 600 yards from where I
not
was
even
fishing.
very far from where you were.
Yeah,
And I think you even heard the bear's final cry.
I did. I was like, hope that's not coming towards me. It was really cool. And so as far as your Mountain Mob's activities, that's just snowmobiling, hunting, fishing, everything outdoors.
Yeah. Yep.
There's no mistaking that cry when you shoot a bear and you hear that. They call it the death moan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was
definitely not.
crazy, wasn't it? It was just like, "Wah." Sorry guys, that wasn't very good. If you heard it, you'd never forget it.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. That was my first bear. I'm a first generation hunter, so I'm about 5 years into it. Had to learn everything on my own pretty much. A lot of my friends don't hunt. They're starting to get into it now. So I've spent a lot of time out by myself making tons of stupid, silly mistakes, but fun stories afterwards.
Yeah. Well, we all do that.
Well, you have a good wife if she lets you go hunting by yourself.
You know, I was pretty naive. We've come up here for years, and since I just started hunting 5 years ago, I'd always heard everyone say there's tons of bears and grizzlies up here, but we'd never seen any. I'd never seen any. When you're out on a sled and motorbikes and going, hauling through the woods, of course you're not going to see anything. So I never really imagined, that there were really grizzlies here until my first year out there hunting, and I was by myself and came across a black bear and a grizzly all in the same year. And being a first timer, it kind of makes the the hair on the back of your head stand up a little bit. So I don't think she really understands exactly what's out there, but
Tell me, because that one day I came back from fishing and somebody said, "Hey, Trevor saw a bear," but there was much more to it. Like you were hiking on a trail and the bear was hiking on, or walking on that same trail. Is that right?
yeah. So I hadn't heard anything or saw anything all morning, and I heard crows flying. And me being a rookie, I thought, I haven't heard anything. I'm gonna go check out what these crows are doing. So I hiked through the woods. Tons of crows just circling around. I figured there's probably something dead there. So I circled around, and as I came up this little hill, I see this bear just chomping on something. And he looked up at me, and we were like maybe 30 yards away from each other.
Oh, wow.
And, if I was thinking correctly, I would have drawn back and taken a shot. But I just stood there and I was like, holy crap, that is a bear. And that's the first time I've seen a bear this close in the wild. And so we both just slowly backed away from each other, and the bear just took off running.
Wow.
And
What a cool experience.
It's
It was
crazy how quiet they are. I did my first bear hunt last year in Alaska, and I'd been hunting hard, for days. But I was standing on the side of this road, logging road, and this is where the bears travel. I mean, we're seeing their crap piles all over these logging roads, and fresh ones too, so they're there. So I'm standing. I just looked down for a second. I can't remember what I was doing. Look down for like 10 seconds, and I look up again, and there's a bear right there. And he wasn't there 10 seconds ago. And I was standing so still, he didn't see me. But,
oh, yeah.
I mean, they just come out of nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
And same experience, hair on the back of my neck stands up a bit because he was like 20 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
It was close.
Well,
Yeah, so did you take that one?
Yeah, I shot him.
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah. Nice bear. Huge.
Was that the trip with the Gertie Bowman?
Yeah.
Up there? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, I listened to that podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, I think that brings us to an important point because spring is ending and we're ready to start getting into the backcountry for summer fishing, and we probably need to talk a little bit about bear safety and maybe some things that we can do to make sure that we don't have an unfortunate encounter with a bear. In the Island Park area and in Yellowstone Park area, there's definitely grizzly bears, and black bears are all over the West. But one of the things that you can do is always hike with a buddy. And I think that's, sometimes you can't, but hiking with somebody is always what I would prefer. You guys...
Yeah, most of the experience, or most of the stories up here that hit the news of people getting attacked in this area, more chances than not, they're solo.
Yeah.
They're out there by themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big proponent of the buddy system.
So, but if you can't be, like if the fishing's really good and you don't have anyone to go with, you're still going fishing. So one of the things that we can do is, obviously there's bear spray. I mean, you guys carry bear spray. Some of the bear spray that I carry involves lead. You know what I mean?
Spray lead.
So, I know some people wear bells. Have you guys ever worn? I haven't either.
I think when I was a 12-year-old Boy Scout, maybe once I had a bell, but no, I like a sidearm personally.
Yeah.
It's just a preference.
Yeah, I do too. I know in the park for years we couldn't carry guns in the park. You can now if you're a concealed permit holder. But bear spray, pepper spray is probably your best option if you're not going to carry a firearm.
For sure.
And technically you're not supposed to carry a firearm for bear repellent in the park, but I'm going to use it.
I've also heard, one of my first years hunting, one of the guys I was talking with up here told me to pack around road flares, like the big long road flare sticks. They said that I was taking his word for it, but they said that some guys up in Alaska choose that over bear spray. When they get close, they strike, and that waving that around, I guess.
Wow.
So yeah, I triple pack. I go gun, bear spray, and then in my side pocket, I carry the road flare. When crap hits the fan, I probably won't know which one to grab for first, so
Grab something.
Yeah, but at least mentally I feel like I'm safe, right?
I can see me lighting the forest on fire with a real flare.
Well, and you bring up a good point when it comes to bears, is make sure whatever you're packing is accessible. I like to bow hunt, and the closest run-in I've ever had with a bear, I did have my sidearm, but that particular time, for some reason, I'd thrown it in my pack. And I'm coming down through these trees, and the wind is blowing in my face, everything's right. And I think there's elk up here, but a bear is coming right at me, and we don't see each other until we almost literally bump into each other. Little black bear, fortunately, but my gun was in my pack. I mean, there's no way I could have got to it, right? So make sure it's either on your hip, on your chest, or whatever you're packing, your bear spray, it's accessible.
That'd be the most embarrassing thing in your obituary. People say the only thing left of him was his gun. The bear ate everything else, So yeah, I totally agree. Have it where you can get to it, or your pepper spray,
Yeah, and for guys that fish, there's some great chest packs out there that fit a small sidearm.
Yeah.
That's where I've started to carry my gun, is in my chest pack.
Yeah. Super, super important. So, guys, you head back into the backcountry this year. Bear should be a consideration, or your preparation, or if you were to meet a bear on a trail.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, anyway, before we kind of get into the streamer fishing part of this, I have a funny story that Trevor and I did. Well, this was a long time ago. Back before we could fish below the dam here at the lake. It was a low water year, and there were you couldn't fish. I think it was from the dam 400 yards below you could fish, but from the dam to those 400 yards is where all the fish were. So Trevor, what did we do?
So me and my buddies were like high school kids, so of course we're going to do anything that Jason told us to do. So he dressed us in these pink, not waders, wetsuits. Gave us some fishing paddles, or some boat paddles, and told us to jump in the water where the fish were.
What a good
And
uncle.
they are just like pelting into your waist. These fish are just going crazy. One of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. Flashlight, there's a beaver like swimming towards us in the water.
That's crazy.
My goodness.
That's funny.
But we herded a ton of fish down to where you could fish. We just kind of pushed them and scared them down river. And then the next morning we went down to that spot and caught a bunch of fish because they were where you could fish.
Well, I think you can take credit for Trevor's love of the outdoors. I mean, that experience turned him into a man.
Yeah, you could definitely.
You heard it right.
I never really put that together, but now I think I understand. Yeah.
You're part of the mountain mob.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if people knew kind of Trevor's or our family, Trevor is on the far edge of of the outdoorsman part of that group, because they are into motorsports. Mm-hmm. They're just crazy fanatical. Just love razors, 4-wheelers, snowmobiles. They're awesome. But Trevor's loves that and participating in nature. So yeah. But I do. Now that you bring that up, I do take responsibility. I probably was the one that.
Absolutely.
So Trevor, you started Mountain Mob just as a place, a community for anybody that loves outdoor activities to come to. Is that, am I right?
So one day last fall, I was sitting on a rock, perched up, hunting archery, and I thought, I was the only one there. It was super quiet. I could hear elk bugling in the background. And I thought, like, if I could do this every day and see and hear these things, then life would just be perfect. Like, there was this huge passion inside. And I realized there's so many people out there who have that same type of passion, not just for hunting, but fishing, BMX, mountain biking, hiking, backpacking, all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
And so there's plenty of communities where you can go and get really niched down, drop jaw with fly fishing. But this one was more, in my mind, I thought, similar to Under Armour, right? Like, they started small, now they're huge, they're knocking on Nike's doors. But if you look, they've got products for everyone. Like, they've created an awesome community. They started off with compression gear. Now, I wear a lot of their hunting gear. They're in every major sport pretty much. So, but yeah, just a community with people who love to outwardly show that inner passion of being in the outdoors and challenging oneself in the backcountry.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you have an Instagram page. You're on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Really, our only claim to fame on Facebook is we posted a video during the winter just a few months ago. There was lots of snow up in the hills, and we had all made this big climb up this mountain, and we got up to the top, and our youngest riding partner was uncle's son, 16 years old. And he had already made the climb one time and didn't make it successfully, so we all passed and went up. We got up there. Someone said, hey, let's just film this to see what happens. And so he starts making the climb, and he bails and doesn't make it. He gets right to the very top of the lip, and he decides to turn out. And as he turns, the steepness of the hill just takes the sled and rolls. Now, I saw this coming, so I took off running, and I ran down the lip, jumped and dove and grabbed onto the ski, and saved the snowmobile from going 3/4 of a mile back down to the bottom.
Oh.
And anyways, this was all filmed on a GoPro. My cousin was filming, and like, he perfectly framed everything. It was so nice. It wasn't planned, obviously. Anyways, after we posted it, we had you put me on the spot and I can't remember the TV show. Anyways, we had a TV show contact me.
I'm trying to think of it because
They wanted to air it.
Yeah, it was like they aired lots of YouTube videos that hadn't gone viral yet, but that were like crazy, hilarious, funny, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, so they asked for permission. I said, of course, you guys can use it. So that's pretty much my only claim to fame is getting a video of me on national television.
Well, that was a cool video.
But yeah, so that's on Facebook.
I don't know if I've seen that.
You'll have to check it out to show you the power of Facebook video versus YouTube video. Posted the same video exact same time to both channels. The YouTube has maybe a couple hundred views, and the Facebook has, now we're close to, I think, 275,000 views on that video. And so, yeah, there's still all day long I get notifications of people commenting and saying hilarious stuff.
So Facebook is just shared so much better, more efficiently.
Yeah.
YouTube's just out by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facebook will promote its own videos. It gives it a higher priority over if you were to just paste in a YouTube link video. So that's why, if you're trying to get a bump on Facebook with video, to just directly upload your video to Facebook.
Gotcha. Before you see, I'm not too familiar with that on Facebook, but before you watch a video on Facebook, do you have to watch a commercial?
No.
So that's huge for me, because on YouTube, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, if you upload it straight to Facebook, as of now, no. I mean, who knows if that will change, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
So now Mountain Mob, we're coming into summer months. We already talked about it. It's the hiking, biking, four-wheeling, hunting. So anybody that has a passion for the outdoors, do they share videos and pictures to you and you post them, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we probably share like 1 out of every 4 videos or photos that we post is our own generated content. And then, 3/4 of them, 75% are user generated content.
Cool.
And we've got, every day people send photos in from all over the world. So
That's awesome.
we just kind of line them up and send some shout outs to them.
Ah, good job.
I think you did a post for us too, didn't you, once?
Yeah, we did a post with your brand ambassador, Mountain Kiwi.
Ah,
right?
yes.
Mount Kiwi.
Mount Kiwi.
Mount Kiwi, yeah.
He is a fish magnet. Fish just swim over to his fly. He ties some awesome stuff with our heads. So
He does.
yeah, we've got some good ones. RB Tech 1 out in California, and we're working with Panther Branch Bugs in Alabama.
Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, he's an amazing tire. So, but yeah, that post was cool. We'll have to do a mountain mob. Just catch a huge cutty, Trevor, and we will post it.
Okay. You may have to catch it for me. I grew up, Jason always like hogging all the fish, and then no one else gets to catch anything.
Nothing's changed. I mean, I don't know why I still fish with you. But.
Well, I got video proof that that's not true because I post Trad's the one catching all the fish now.
So, guys, if you like outdoors, anything outdoors, and you want to see cool pics, you have cool pics.
Send them away, yeah.
You want to share, send them to Trevor at Mountain Mob.
That's a way cool idea. It really is. It's just everybody can participate in Mountain Mob because, we're specialized, but we can post stuff there.
Yeah.
Well, I think most guys that fish like us love the outdoors, right? I mean, we love to snowmobile, we love to four-wheel, we love to hunt, hike. So that's a cool site to go to and see awesome pictures.
It is. It is. So, Trevor, you were really lucky because being born into the Erickson family, Grandpa Erickson had a vision, and his wife of this area. They bought land here, built a cabin here. Their kids and the grandkids grew up in Island Park. And what's Island Park for you? If
you asked me if I would rather go to like Cancun for vacation or go to Island Park, I'd probably say Island Park. My wife would probably hit me for that. But it's like home. I mean, it's a second home, but I'd rather live up here than anywhere else. So
well, it has a huge impact on people when you come up here. It's just so beautiful being in the outdoors. I remember dating your aunt, my wife, and we were sitting right down there by the lake before we were married, and I just thought, I gotta make this happen.
Yep.
And now the cat's out of the bag.
No, but it's beautiful up here. So the fishing, this area is really known historically for the Yellowstone cutthroat trout. That's just was in the waters all over here, and it still is. And that fish in the lake out here grows huge, and so it's a huge draw for a lot of people. This year the ice came off early before the opener, and the fish were close to shore because obviously during ice off they'll come up, spawn, but it opened a month after that. So for you streamer fanatics, there just wasn't the fish that were what we're accustomed to. They're deeper, and the water's about in the 50s already, so the big midge hatches are occurring, and the fish are lazy, especially the big ones, and all they have to do is swim around with their mouths open and eat midges. They're not going to chase our flies. So the end of streamer fishing in the spring, it was so this year.
I've never seen so many midges. I mean, we came in last night and I was covered head to toe in midges all over me. It's crazy.
Yeah. Trevor and I were able to make it out on a boat. What was it? Saturday night?
Last Saturday, yeah, a few days ago.
Yeah. And just same thing. The water was already up in the 50s, and we were at the end of May. And the fish just have a lot of options for food items, and big streamers isn't really one of them unless you go out really early in the morning and get out in the deeper water.
Which we did.
Yeah, even
So we fished last night, and it was slow. They were full, right? But we got up early this morning and went out, and we each caught a handful. And
Yeah.
fishing was better. So if you find conditions like this, better success in the morning.
Definitely. Or if you want to go out late at night, there's no bugs really hatching, in the later hours. So it's good to probably pull a bigger streamer with a bigger profile, and maybe a little bit slower strip if you go out in low light, and give that a try. But beautiful area. We're going to try and wrap this week up with a big fish. So keep your eyes open for that. And we'll definitely do some things with Trevor this summer. See if we can't get some content for your page and get some for ours.
I actually had a question for you guys, because it hits me all the time. At what point when you're fishing a stream or whatever it may be, do you make the decision to A, there's either no fish here, B, they're not biting what I have and I should switch it up, and when should I do that? Is that a good rookie question, or what is?
No, I mean,
because
Great question.
for me it's like, right now you can't see the fish. I like to fish where I can see the fish.
it's always.
And I think I listened to one of you guys say a few podcasts ago to not go look for fish, but to find the type of water that the fish are in. But it's like, if they're not biting, is it because there's no fish, or is it because, and I need to change location, or is it what I'm throwing at them, they're not digging, so I need to switch things up a little bit?
Could be both. I mean, once your fly hits the water, boom, it's available for all the fish to see, even though we can't see them because either water clarity or light conditions. They can see a long ways away around them. So if they see your fly, or when they see it, they either will go check it out, maybe take a nab at it, or just inhale it or whatever. But if you've cast it out in that location a few times, and you've covered the depths through the column and you haven't got anything, it's time to move 20 feet or so. And if you do that for a while and you don't get hit, then it's time to change your fly. But the early spring season, the reason why we say don't go look for the fish is because it's just hard to do. Like, you would pass up a lot of water if you were just looking for a fish. But if you find the depth where they are and you cast out there, they'll usually come check it out. Yeah, they'll travel.
And the only difference, I guess, in that scenario would be if you're trophy hunting, right? Some guys will walk 2 hours up and down a river just looking for one monster fish, and that's all they want.
Yeah.
They want to catch one big one. But like, these conditions in this lake out here, for me personally, are probably the toughest, because one, it's harder to see fish in a lake when there's no clarity. It's murky. I mean, this is spring, flows are high, everything's really murky and visibility's poor. And so when you don't see them, man, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
So.
And both of us, we were out on the boat with a fish finder, using the sonar, and there was fish all around the boat, but because of the insect hatches that were occurring, there's just so much food in the water, all they have to do is just basically move with their mouth open and they're eating. So when they see our fly, it's just, I don't think they think like, I have to chase this and expend calories. It's just, there's other food sources that are easier to get.
Yeah.
It's like a bear. If there's a whole bunch of marshmallows, bacon grease, and beaver tail just right there, or he has to chase this super fast deer, it's kind of like the same thing. So it's tough conditions.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fishing is experimenting. If you don't have a fish finder, which we fish from shore a lot, it's like, okay, one, fish finder's not telling you where they are, if they're here, or how deep they are. So it's a lot of guessing.
Yeah.
So first cast out, let it go down 1 or 2 feet, bring it in. Next cast, maybe go down 6, 8 feet, and then bring it in. and then vary your strip speed too if you're stripping a streamer. It's a lot of mixing it up, messing around.
But to answer your question, Trevor, I think early season, especially when the ice is just pulling away, they'll usually come inspect anything. So fly choice isn't that big of a deal then. Mm-hmm. But now that the insects are here, fly choice is something you need to consider. Yeah. So fishing around the hatches is basically the way to do it if you want to catch fish on a streamer, early or late. Mm-hmm. Early's better. Late, they're already full. So you gotta.
So I want to ask both of you a question about fishing Yellowstone. You know, Trevor, you live here. Jason, you come up here a lot. I'm really excited because you and I are heading into the park tomorrow to fish Yellowstone. So I want to ask you, for guys that are thinking about making a trip out to Yellowstone and fishing, I think primarily Yellowstone's trout, right?
Yeah.
You come to Yellowstone to catch all kinds of trout.
Right.
So where should guys go? What are some great places to fish in Yellowstone?
That's a great question for Jason, because I've only fished in Yellowstone one time when I was a little kid. Caught plenty of fish. But
oh my goodness. Well, Yellowstone's just filled with rivers and lakes that hold trout, and so there's no way you could even scratch the surface in one trip, let alone maybe even a lifetime. In a lifetime, maybe you could fish everywhere once or twice. So for me, the cutthroat trout is, it's been here, it's the native trout of the West, and that's really what I want to focus on when I go there. So we're going to hit the lake and get some of those fish that their ancestors have been in there since the beginning. Whether you believe in evolution or you believe in creation, they've been in that water forever. So that's a cool thing to me, and so we'll focus on that tomorrow.
On the Yellowstone cutthroat.
Right. But if you're into brown trout, then you can go to the Madison system and get some browns. There's rainbows in there too. Unfortunately, there's lake trout in Yellowstone even, and that's a big problem. But
you can find brook trout in Yellowstone.
Tons of brook trout in Yellowstone in different areas. Grayling. There's even West Slope cutthroat trout in Yellowstone. So if you wanted to target those. But yeah, Yellowstone's this huge, like a country unto itself of trout. And so you pick what you want to do and come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm. So whether guys prefer lakes or rivers, Yellowstone has it all.
It does.
And you can get remote. I mean, you can hike into places where those fish maybe have never seen a lure or a streamer or a fly. I mean... Yeah,
and so remote that you're going to look like a Pop-Tart to a bear. So you got to watch yourself where you go. But yeah, it's just an awesome place.
Yeah. You know, you and I did it last year, and, you know, one of the benefits, too, of fishing Yellowstone is just to drive in. I mean, if you go early morning, if you're coming out at sunset, you can see some beautiful wildlife, beautiful country. We saw bears, elk, bison, deer. You can see wolves.
Yeah. Trevor's probably... You've seen everything, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I even saw a video this morning of a woman almost getting headbutted by an elk in Yellowstone, like last week. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Mm-mm. But, you know, you got to keep your 25-yard distance from the wildlife. And, of course, people think that animals in the wild aren't wild.
Let's pet it.
Let's get close and take a photo. Yeah. And this cow elk charges this lady. And this guy's filming, and right as the elk's about to charge, he's yelling, "Hey, ma'am, you need to step back." And that elk just charges, stops right before her. And the next thing you see, the lady, she's laying on her back on the ground.
Oh. Did she
didn't. You can't tell from the video, but I read some of the comments, and they said that the elk actually stopped, like right in front of her. and she was like backpedaling and stumbled and fell backwards.
Dang, I'd love
But
to see
so
that
you
video.
two, if you see a cow elk, just keep your distance,
Stay
all right?
back.
All right.
Would not try to tip it like we did last year.
That's
Elk
right.
tipping.
Hey, yeah, let's go buffalo tipping. Yeah, it'd be easy, huh?
You know, we saw 2 years ago, we had buffalo jump the ridge line, and they were like right over there. A wild buffalo from the park.
Wow.
It wasn't long before Fish and Game was there to clean it up, but
Wow.
I was on the Razor driving down the road, and I'm like, is that a buffalo? Because there's not usually buffalo roaming around here.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big old buffalo just sitting there.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what do you think? Streamer fishing, how was it this spring? Give us a summary, Chad.
Oh man, I mean for me it was off the charts because I mean it might be my first spring ever solely fishing streamers. And I mean that's really all that we did, but we're getting better at it, or at least I am. And so we caught some amazing fish.
Yeah, you did awesome. Trevor, we don't know what it was like for you, but hopefully it was good.
Hey, my springs are mostly looking for bears. Mm-hmm. And eventually, hopefully, it's horn hunting. I just haven't had the time to get into that yet, but it's super popular. A lot of people do it.
Yeah.
But do you guys name the fish? Like certain unique fish, do you guys have names for it? So when you tell the stories, you're like, Johnny, you guys get like that personal with them or what?
I think Chad we use a camera and he sends me the photos afterward, and all the fish are named on there, like Sweet Cuddy 1 or Sweet Cuddy
Nice.
number 2. So if we do have a system, it would be that.
Okay.
We don't name them at the time. Pet them, give them a kiss, and release them.
Sometimes you give them a kiss. It has to be a good fish.
I do name the pictures just for Jason, so he can maybe keep track of which ones have been posted and which ones haven't.
Okay. Cool.
So I would say overall, Baby Whitey probably took the most fish this spring, and we had the mini trout. If you guys are buying that head and tying flies with it, that's a great head for just a perfect size. It's not the smallest, not the biggest, but that's a great size streamer for spring fishing. Yeah, can't wait to the Baby Whitey will be able to cross over into your summer fishing really easy, really well too. So this spring was awesome.
It was so
It was
awesome.
really good. Got some nice fish.
Well, and I think this trip tomorrow is kind of wrapping up the spring season for us, and then it's on to warmer weather, summer fishing tactics. So stay tuned for upcoming podcasts discussing summer tactics.
Yes. Yeah, and stay tuned for the big fish that we're going to catch. One of us is going to get tomorrow in the park.
Hopefully. All right, Trevor, thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Do you have a website too?
Yeah, it's mountainmob.com, so mountain spelled out, and mob.com. Right now, there's just a small lineup of gear, and we'll be shortly producing more user-generated content as far as guest blog posts and how-to videos and tutorials for cool things to do in the outdoors.
Cool.
So, yeah.
It's awesome.
And so when you say gear, guys can buy like the hat.
Yeah, so we have hats, hoodies, shirts. We actually have an embroidery and screen printing operation right inside our warehouse where we operate from. So it's really easy for us to spit out some cool gear real fast.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
check it out, mountainmob.com.
Right.
Okay, Jason, any last words?
No, the spring fishing was awesome. I'm really sad to see it go and can't wait for next spring. But before then, we have fall. That's going to be really good. I would just say, guys, for these last few days left in spring, again, look for that water that's a little deeper. Fish have moved away from the shore, and target those areas where points are, where drop-offs are. Weed beds are going to start forming soon, and so as those are establishing, the minnows are going to be drawn to there more and more. So hit those spots early and late. So that's my last parting tip. Stick 'em solid.
Love it.
Yes. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. Stay safe on all of your fishing adventures and stick 'em solid.
All right, friends, thanks for listening to the Drop Jaw Flies podcast. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or our website, www.dropjawflies.com. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or our YouTube channel. Now get out there and hook a big one and stick 'em solid.